Before you start defending yourself, before you start trying to explain yourself or get someone to understand you or agree with you, figure out for yourself, answer for yourself.
Let me ask a little truth. I'd like to know your point of view.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Evening Ransom. Welcome to Evening TV. I wanted to talk to you today about a few things that you can say to disarm a narcissist. And like a few key phrases. And then at the end, the one question you need to answer when you're talking to anyone to determine if the conversation is even worth entering into. The one question you need to answer for yourself. First thing you can say to them, if they're ranting raving about how awful you are or something like that, I can't control how you see me. You're entitled to your own opinion. You're entitled to your own version of reality. You're entitled to see me however you want. You can say something like that. 2, I'm sorry you feel that way, but your feelings aren't my responsibility. Or you can separate those out. Mix these up however you want, but that could be, 1 and then 2, but they kind of go together. I'm sorry you feel that way, but your feelings aren't my responsibility. If they say, you make me so angry, your feelings aren't my responsibility. Basically letting them know that you don't agree with their version of reality. I don't care how you see me. I'm not invested in how you see me. Just basically, there's no supply in those responses. There'd be nowhere for them to go with them, and there's no supply in them. We are drawn to narcissistic people because they are so charming, and they are so charismatic, and they are so confident, and all that stuff. But eventually, as we know, it turns into, it goes from the 3 C's to the 3 E's. It goes to entitled, low empathy, and exploitative. So, if you don't want to go through the process of getting all the way there, you just want to find out when they're still in the charming phase. The one question that you need to answer for yourself when you're starting to engage with anybody, before you start defending yourself, before you start trying to explain yourself or get someone to understand you or agree with you, figure out for yourself, answer for yourself, does this person want to understand me? Is this person trying to hear me? Or are they talking over me? They're trying not to hear me. They don't care, they don't want to change their opinion, they just want to be right. If the answer is they want to be right, and you're not going to get anywhere, just stop talking. As soon as you know someone just wants to be right, just stop talking. Don't waste your energy and your words on someone who is not going to listen to you anyway. And here's the thing about what makes narcissistic people so impossible for us to deal with, is that what is depleting us, what is so exhausting and frustrating and just awful for us, they love it. They thrive on it. So even if they don't look like it, even if they look miserable and they're all conflicted, they love it. That's still energy to them. Them sucking energy out of you, it's like charging them up, juicing them up. So that's the thing. And so it's like those kinds of arguments where they just want to be right, you arguing with them is never going to convince them. You are never ever going to hear, you wouldn't really hear anybody, but you especially are going to hear a narcissist go, Thanks for clearing that up, but I get it. No, that's not how it goes. Even if it's just absolutely ludicrous, it's something they couldn't even possibly know, it's a bold-faced lie, they will still keep telling it to you. And so just, this is the perfect time to employ, you'll know in your head, they don't want to know the truth. They don't want to know what's real and right. They don't care about my feelings, obviously. So I'm going to just stop talking. I'm not going to give them any more supply over this. I might say one of my things first, like, you're entitled to feel however you want, and then just stop talking. Don't give them anything else. Because you really, honestly, are not going to get anywhere else anyway. And I know, and I'm sure we could all share stories of when we didn't do that, and when we just tried again and again and again and again to talk, and it just got us nowhere, and we got exhausted. And for me, this went on for years and years and years, and just zero progress, because there was never an interest in their part in hearing me, in seeing me, in knowing how I felt, in knowing the truth. They never wanted to know the truth, or they would have asked me in the first place. They would have shown me some care and concern and interest in the first place if they ever wanted to know. What they wanted to do is they wanted to make a story and then keep telling that story, and that's what they continued to do. And so you're not going to make any difference on that. You're not going to make any difference with that. And I tell the story about how I knew that was true, and how eerie it was when after my son died and my mother called, me and said something like, it was like, not right after, it was like Mother's Day or something. You must have a heavy heart, you know, on Mother's Day. And I was like, yeah, I do. Don't you? And then she launched into, right away, immediately, into how, yeah, but, you know, what am I to do? You know, if you just want to turn your back on all your friends and family, what am I to do about it? You know? And so she, you know, she had completely, that's the story that she's telling herself. And I'm sure that she believes it's true now at this point. And I, you know, I just didn't say anything. There was no point in it. There was just no point in it. She's, you know, she's been telling herself that story. It works with everyone that she's around. You know, she's in her 70s. If she wants to, she has to tell herself, you know, to make herself be perceived the way she wants to be perceived from other people. And she cares more about that than she cares about her relationship with me, clearly. And so that's just the way narcissists are. That's just how it is for narcissists. They don't care about you. They don't care about their intimate relationships. In fact, they resent them. They resent because they can't trust you. Once you see the mask slip, and you're not like them, and you're not going along with the false narrative, you have to become an enemy because they don't want to face their true self, and so you have to go. You know, I see the inevitability of that in my own life now, but you know, you could save yourself decades of stress and strain and futility if you can just ask yourself, does this person want to know me? Are they trying to get to peace? Are they trying to get to understanding? Or are they just trying to win? Are they just trying to be right? Because there is no point in even going into that conversation if that's the case. Okay, please subscribe if you haven't already, and down in the comments, let me know if you've had any experience with this, with just not saying anything, and how it worked for you. Please let me know that in the comments. Okay, guys, thanks so much. I'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.